We can't hear you. We still can't hear you.
Hello. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, you're audible now.
So, good evening.
Good idea, Mira. Um, I, Hi, Mira. Basically, I mean, again, this is a great book to bring out. This kind of meditation where the breath is a method to control the meditation, the mind, has been taught many times, but the clarity with which it has been taught in this tiny booklet is truly amazing. And I did try it yesterday, and it's really effective. Yeah. Yes, yes. I mean that is what they call mindfulness, and I think that's got to do with a sort of the idea is not to let your mind just go on jumbling away without direction, and uh, letting all kinds of stray thoughts come to you, and it's really that kind of thinking which really bugs us, makes life very unproductive, lowers our energies, and also uh, gives you all the bitterness and all that, because a lot of memories come suddenly crashing in from somewhere. You have no control, and then the thing with the mind does is it seems to sort of justify everything that it feels. So if it's angry, then it's trying to justify that anger. So all that is happening if you're not in the moment and meditating in that moment.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. Is there any particular part of what you read? Did it stay with you, or any questions that you might have about what he has said in this excerpt?
Mira?
Mira, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm able to hear you.
Yeah, the one thing which will remember with me while reading this book is about living in the moment. Like if you are washing the dish, then that must be the important thing in your life, and then that action is applicable for anything which you do in life. So living in the moment, which is very um, very interesting, and I'm not sure whether we will be able to practice that 24 hours a day, but yeah, we can try and improve ourselves, and also about the concentration power which the author correlated with the mindfulness, because before reading this book I always had this abstract thought about mindfulness. But after reading this book, I just got the clarity. Like it's not only about meditation, and as the previous speaker said about controlling the breath, it's a very good exercise.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And that sort of abstractness was really um, given a very real form in just how, mundane it might seem, and the kind of mundane activities that you could still, practice this. So how do you think you can practice, mindfulness in daily life? What are some of, the ideas, or what were some of the things you could relate to which you might want to try out from now on?
So I do tend to do this counting meditation and probably do it 3 times a day, maybe for 5 minutes. I'm thinking of doing that on a regular basis. So I'm not sure whether I will be that regular, but I notice a lot of clarity the moment I finish with that meditation. So I'm looking forward to the clarity after. But I would like to here say that I've been trying to learn meditation for many years, and one thing is it's a bit boring, and it's not as fun as so many other things that one can do. So I don't know whether that is the reason I am not able to stay focused with it. I mean, stay consistent with it.
Definitely, and I'm sure, well, it's the same for me, and I'm sure with many others. But one thing I definitely uh, want to try is to be a little more present in everything that I do. The idea of walking barefoot, feeling the earth beneath your feet, and these are things that we don't really pay attention to. They just happen while your mind is occupied with something else, and that's something I want to try doing after having read this.
Yeah, I think that's a really good starting point, and but I also think that that is also very difficult. I don't think that is easier than the breath meditation. I think uh, being that always in the present, like 24/7, I don't know I don't think that's easy either.
Right, for sure. Does anybody else have anything to say? I'm not too sure about if people are raising their hands this time round. So if you have something to say, please go ahead and unmute yourselves and speak. Bharti, you're coming in really soft. Yeah, it's slightly better, but still quite feeble. Okay, so if everyone apart from Bharti could maybe mute yourselves for now, maybe that might enable a louder voice. Hello, Bharti? No, not really, no. Okay, sure. Yes, is there anybody else who would like to say something? Is there someone who disagrees with the book or some of the things that they read about in this excerpt?
Hello.
Whoever, yeah. Yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah. I'm not disagreeing with the book, but The one thing that struck me when I read the book was sitting straight and doing like most of the things. That was like I think my mom's been telling me like childhood. I've never been following that. So this one really like strike me. I think that's a really good thing. I read the book completely sitting straight, and I'm also listening to this eating sitting straight. That's actually a thing that I want to do. I just want to try that. It is really inspiring.
That's a really amazing first step towards it. Was there anyone who? Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah. So one thing that really appealed to me in the book is this read is that I thought meditation and being mindful is like a job in a day. So I practice meditation. So I excuse me. So I usually thought this 1 hour I have to really be mindful and meditate. But in the book, it's mentioned that it's not just about that 1 hour in a day. Throughout the day, when you're doing every little household chores, maybe you have to be mindful in even washing your vessels and washing clothes, doing cleaning, or be it anything, walking. So I think that really kind of appealed to me, and I will be probably practicing that, being mindful throughout the day, and probably finding meditation in the smaller activities, not just sitting and closing our eyes and meditating. Even otherwise, I'm going to try to practice it maybe.
That's really great to hear. So, we have all of these ideas about what meditation means, and I'm sure we've tried different ways of focusing the mind. So, were there other books about breathing or mindfulness that you have read, and would you like to share anything about it?
One could actually do some guided meditation, take from Alan Wallace on YouTube. He's a Tibetan monk, and he's really nice. Maybe, and also follows this kind of mindful breath meditation. So it's quite interesting that also.
Okay, thanks for sharing, Vimal. So, this is something that I noticed while reading this excerpt and having read another book of of his called Old Path, White Clouds, and it was the language in which it was written, the way everything was communicated. It To me, it felt like a demystification of a lot of concepts that that people try to explain with really big words. So what was the experience for all of you reading this? Was it difficult to comprehend? Was it different from the other kinds of books that you've read?
Mira, this is the first book I read about mindfulness. But I agree with you that the author explains things very directly, and then in a way that we can understand it so better, instead of complicating the thing called meditation. Um, he just mentioned that when you do work, so there also you can practice meditation. So those are the things which are practical and which can help us do things effectively. So in this perspective, author has written things very clearly. Maybe if we read the whole book, then we will get some more thoughts and ideas as.
Oh, definitely give the whole book a read. I think his other book, Old Path, White Clouds, which kind of goes through the life of Buddha, is available online. I will try to share the PDF of that with all of you as well. Again, a very beautiful read. So, did any of you also?
This book, Mira, I got a PDF copy. If anyone wants to read further, I will share the copy with you.
Yes, yes. Please do share it. Okay, so there's one thing that I'd like to read um, that's been shared. After the gods had created the world, they decided they would create truth. In order that we humans should not discover it immediately, they had to discover where they should hide the truth. Should it be put on the highest mountain, or in the deepest cave, or on the farthest star? All the gods had different ideas as to the best hiding place, but the oldest and wisest god had the best idea. He suggested hiding the truth in the very heart of us, knowing that we would look all over the world long before we thought to look inside ourselves. So this was shared by Soundarya, and I think that's so true. We, we always tend to look for answers outside of ourselves, and I say that also from a very personal space. Was there anyone who, as they were reading it, or right after they read, today's excerpt, did you actually start to observe your breath and become more mindful about it, or even just observe how deep you were breathing, or how your body was reacting to your breath, because that's something that's very unconscious pretty much all the time. So one of the things I found really fascinating, like I mentioned before, was this idea of walking barefoot. It was something that we were all encouraged to do in school, and in fact, when I took that over into college, I was looked at very weirdly, and then again encouraged to do it after that. And by that time, I had forgotten the texture of different surfaces, and walking barefoot, like more recently, has been a much more conscious decision, something that I observe while I'm doing, and not something that I take for granted in some sense. And traveling in itself, in I think, brings about all these experiences that you have, kind of widens the scope of finding this mindfulness in whatever it is that you do. So have any of you traveled to any of the places that Buddha has been to? What have your experiences been?
Sorry, Meera, not able to get your question.
Okay, my question was if any of you have traveled to the places where the Buddha has been and what your experiences have been there. And also, travel in general, what does that mean to you?
Meera, I am not a avid traveler, but traveling is good, nice, like reading a book, and especially to new places, you will get a different perspective, have a fresh mind, then you will feel energetic. So about Buddha, no, I never went to that place. Did you travel? Can you share your travel experiences?
I have traveled, but not to the places that Buddha has been to. To me, travel, it's now in retrospect, having traveled quite a bit when I was much younger, and also traveling around a little more locally in the recent past, it's become a sort of sacred thing, and I really miss doing it. Um, but yeah, could if Pavitra's online, maybe could you share a little bit about travel?
Hi, Mira. I'm sorry, I was just observing what you guys are doing. It's my first day here. So yeah, I can definitely share my experiences. So the thing is about traveling. Yeah, what I think about traveling is it itself. Well, you will automatically tend to be mindful when you travel. That's what I think, because travel to a new place, because when it's a new place and when you have to take control of the situation of what's you will obviously be aware of what's happening around you, and you will you have to act on your feet when you're traveling to a new place, mostly when it is alone, when you are going on a solo trip or something. Just so it creates a mindfulness, and you will be you want to know what's happening around, you want to gel in with the environment, and you will be exploring a lot about the place, trying to know a lot about the place, and make the best out of the experience. So I think it helps. I think it's an easier way to be mindful. I mean, you will enjoy the experience as well as practice mindfulness, and it's a good thing. Yeah, that's my say about it.
Thank you so much for sharing, Pavitra. You're absolutely right about that. There's another thing I'd just like to read out. Um, the travel aspect that's being spoken about, it reminded them of a part in the book that says that we can try to think that wherever we go or sit is where the Buddha sat. So I think it's page 13 in the book. Sitting here is like sitting on the Bodhi spot. Lekha, could you also share a few words But any thoughts that you had after reading the book?
I had that sitting thought and I still keep into that. And about the breathing, I noticed that the quiet breathing part actually fits me. I noticed whether I'm breathing quietly and I was sitting breathing and I did all that while reading the book. So I think I should just practice all that and maintain everything.
You're coming in a little broken, Nekha. Can you maybe be a little louder also and say what you said again? I'm so sorry, I didn't catch that.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, this is perfect.
Yeah. I went through the quiet breathing part, and I tried breathing in and breathing out and all while reading the book. And I also noticed whether I'm breathing in quietly or not. And I maximum tried to not hear my breathe and all. So that was an interesting part in the book. And the other one was the sitting straight thing I already told before.
Right, that's so true.
Hello.
Hi, yes.
So, yeah, this is Shakti. I just want to share my experience on meditation during this quarantine. So, I basically have this wheezing problem. So, I thought, why can't I practice meditation or breathing exercise? First, I just started normally. I don't know like what is going to be the outcome. I had no idea about it. But my friends all they all suggested me, and I remember my PT teacher also they used to tell us like meditate, meditate, and we don't care about it. And now I could really tell that I felt some changes. Like I could able to breathe. I won't say there's a drastic change, but it's getting improved. So yeah, if anybody have such kind of problems, I will suggest like ask them to start this exercise.
Oh, okay, that's really useful, right? Oh, was someone else saying something?
Actually, that was actually a really good thing. When I had like using starting stage and all, like so, even my mom's home and also do meditation and all, but we had I went to the meditation class, yoga class and all, but that was really so irritating. I just dropped it out, but because it was really boring. Now I think I'll start doing again.
Oh, that's really nice to hear. One of the questions that also came to me when I read this was this whole idea of process over product. You know, meditation and breathing, breathing in the proper way, sitting up straight, whatever it is. It is difficult, like Vimal was also saying earlier, and for me personally, I've always been driven by okay, what benefit would this get me and how soon. And this kind of made me realize that the whole idea of it was to look at the process, observe the process of it, be within that rather than saying okay, how is this going to be beneficial, one, and also how soon will I be able to attain that benefit. So do you have any thoughts on that? Hello? Yeah.